Right, people. So, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Yeah. Went to check it out. Okay. Tim Burton is back as director, and this one is written by Alfred and Alfred Gough and Miles Millar. Ah, mine just went blank for a second. Yeah, supposedly they came up with the story along with Seth Graham Smith. Okay, so producing the film, we have Jeremy Kleiner, Tommy Harper, Dede Gardner, Tim Burton, and Mark Tuberoff. Executive producing, we have Larry Wilson, Anthony Titonogru, Lawrence Senelick, Brad Pitt, Miles Millar, Andrew Larry, David Katzenberg, Seth Graham Green, Alfred Gough, Katarilli Fraunfelder, Sarah Desmond, Pete Chippetta. Yeah, okay. With co-production from Natalie Testa. So Danny Elfman, he was back with the music. Harris Zambalukas took care of cinematography. Jay Prichidini was on editing duties. Sophie Holland, she was behind the casting. Mike Scrutton was production design. Art direction, we have Andrew Palmer, Adam McLean, Katrina McKay, Kyra Kimball, Will Houghton Connell, Nick Gustachuk, Will Kubera, Ian Bunting, and Alex Bailey. Laurie Mazur and David Morrison took care of set decoration. Costume design, we have Colleen Atwood. Yeah, there's way too many people on art direction, sorry, on hair and makeup to list. Right, our cast. We have got, obviously, Michael Keaton is back as Beetlejuice, right? Catherine O'Hara is Delia Deetz again, and Lydia Deetz is played by Winona Ryder. All right, now, Lydia as a daughter, Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega. There is, Lydia's ex-husband Richard is played by Santiago Cabrera. Who else should we go with? So Charles is here, but not listed. We have Rory, played by Justin Theroux. That's Lydia's boyfriend. Wolf Jackson is played by William Dafoe. Dolores is played by Monica Bellucci. Then there's Jeremy, played by Arthur Conti. Bob Shrinker, Nick Kellington. Father Damien, played by Bern Gorman. The janitor is Danny DeVito. La Tigra is Sammy Salaman. Jane Butterfield, this time out, is played by Amy Nuttall. All right, Clive, played by Mark Heenahan. He's voiced by Charlie Hopkinson. Olga, played by Liv Spencer. Littler Jane, played by Skylar Park. Dave Shrinker, played by Matthew Lyons. Jeremy's mum, played by Jane Leaney. Jeremy's dad, played by David Ayers. Galen, played by Wallis Harmonde. Judy Welsh, played by Rebecca O'Mara. Emmett Welsh, played by Adam Spears. Eddie, played by Daryl Kwan. That's probably the main lot of people. Stephen K. Amos was the train conductor. Yeah, that's probably our main lot of people. Vlad is played by Philip Cates. Okie dokie. Right, so the gist of the film, I guess. Right, so after an unexpected family tragedy, 3 generations of the Deetz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter Astrid discovers the mysterious model of the town in the attic, and the portal to the afterlife is accidentally opened. With trouble brewing in both realms, it's only a matter of time until someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times and the mischievous demon returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem. So, yeah, it's been 36 years, right? Which is bonkers. 36 years. Right? That does feel insane. It feels so crazy. I was curious, right? I was curious to know how this was all going to go down. Now, it opens up, right? It opens up and we got Lydia, right? We get this all haunted kind of situation, and it's actually Lydia now runs a show called Ghost House. Right, it's one of those ghost hunting type of shows, and you're just like, okay, right, this all makes sense, right? And during that show, she believes she sees Beetlejuice, right, which then kind of spirals everything, which was interesting, you know what I mean? Now, we then get the news that Charles Deetz, Delia's husband, has died. Now, the interesting thing, right, so Jeffrey Jones, who did play Charles in the first film, is alive, right? He is alive. Now, he hasn't worked with Burton since his arrest on child pornography. So I kind of feel that could be the reason he's not in this, even though he's worked since, right? Like, I didn't realize he was arrested for child pornography, right? Because he was in Deadwood. He was good in Deadwood, right? He's been in quite a few things since, which is kind of shocking, right? Like, yeah, it is kind of shocking. But I kind of feel that's probably why he's not in this. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Burton's got kids, so anyone with kids, I don't know, you'd want to employ this dude, man. But I will say, the way they show his demise was very smart. I did enjoy that. I thought that was very well done. I think, the There's two things that were probably my favorite in the film, and that was one of them. Right, so that all as I said, leads the family back to Winter River, which, like Jenna Ortega, her character is, just one of those ones where it's just like, I hate my parents, which it is a little bit, I don't know, it feels a little bit played out, some of the portrayals, right? Like her as a, angsty kid, even though she's 21, right? You just kind of, I don't know, you don't look at Jenna Ortega as a little kid, right? I feel they play her in these roles because she's short, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I don't look at her as being a little, a 15 or something year old, right? But yeah, just that, and then what Lydia's become in this one, right? It just feels from what she was in the first. Now, obviously, now she's an adult, and like you can factor in like the trauma of everything, and which is all fine, but like the characters just kind of devolved into this like, ugh. But they're kind of these caricatures, right? Kind of these caricatures. It is the same with Delia, which just makes things, I don't know, everything felt kind of flat to me. You know what I mean? Like, and just the Rory character, again, it's a caricature. And I feel you know that arc, right? Like the minute you meet the character, you know the arc of this character. I feel, like going through the film, there's some fun effects, right? There's definitely some fun effects. The June ripoff, no, I wasn't really feeling that. We do get this whole situation. Which is a little sensey, and I'm like, just like with that, I thought it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? It's all about interactions. You know what I mean? It's the biggest giveaway in everything. You look at communication, right? And you look at how that is working, and that speaks volumes of what's happening on screen, right? It's the things you don't see. They're not showing you. And the communication is very key. So that whole, like, which is meant to be this big surprise, this big shock, I was just like, yeah, obviously, right? Obviously. So you know what it is, especially from the first film, right? From other situations that are going down. So you know what this is, which is just a bit like, there's this whole thing about the Soul Train, which is so on the nose. It's like, oh, are we doing this? Right? I kind of felt with the Soul Train is there so they can be like, all right, this is how we can have some black actors in this film. Right? That's what it felt like with the Soul Train. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, this is way too predictable. Way too predictable. I really like, there's this one, actually there was 3 bits that I thought were amusing. I liked, there's a bit with Beetlejuice playing a guitar. That was funny. That was funny. I forget the song, but yeah, that I like that bit. And then there's this sequence towards the end of the film with lips. I'm just gonna say lip syncing. That was one of the best in the film, I thought, because like it's funny and right, like just all the emotions, right? The emotion on Lydia's face, you can see all of that. It is played very well, right? I thought that was played very well. The conclusion of that scene, though, was that all became a bit odd. That all became a bit odd and messy and weird. But the start of it was great. The start of that whole sequence was great. Yeah. Oh, the other thing about the whole, the thing I was saying earlier, right? I cannot say, because there's another character involved, and you're kind of thinking this character, there's something like, but I can't, it would just, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I thought the whole Matlin thing is explained away, so that's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are kind of like the Viper thing was goofy. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's certain things that don't necessarily, they just feel a bit too forced, right? They felt a bit too forced. It's an odd film, right? Like, I wouldn't say it's terrible, it's bad or anything like that. It just feels a bit like a nostalgia leech, right? It feels like a nostalgia leech. And did we really need it? You know what I mean? It's been 36 fucking years. Did we really need it? I don't really think we did. Like I did see talk about, like, oh, we could maybe do a third one. And I'm just like, I hope they do not do a third one. Right? The ending of the film is bizarre. The ending of the film is very bizarre because it poses a certain question. And the answer to that question is, that's fucking ridiculous. Right? It didn't work in the, I feel it was the late 80s. It may have been early 90s. And it does not work here. Right? That's all I can say. Now, I think well, depending on your age, you may understand what I am trying to reference here. But again, like, you can't say too much because you do not want to give anything away, Elfman's score is fine, right? It works, it's just based on the nostalgia and everything like that, right? The acting isn't bad. Like, it's not like the acting is terrible or anything like that. I think, yeah, the main issue for me really is just, the script, right? There's a bit in the script, right, when oh my gosh, yeah, there's a bit in the script, and we have got like Astrid talking about her dad, right, her late dad, and someone says to her, "You really miss him, don't you?" And it's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? It is the dumbest line. Because obviously, someone's talking about their dead parent. Like, anyone talking about a dead person. And Unless they're like, yeah, piece of shit. Or like there's disdain in the voice, right? You can tell these things. But if someone's sounding all, distraught and low and down, talking about someone that's dead, obviously they miss that person. Right? It's not a huge stretch. So it's just that line, and there's more lines like it, and you're just like, oh boy, So yeah, I don't know. I feel that was where this all falls apart, really. You know what I mean? But word is a load of people are digging it. So yeah, I get it probably depends on what kind of thing you're resonating to. I would probably say if you enjoyed Axel F, right? If you enjoyed Axel F, you're probably, I would probably say you're gonna like Beetlejuice. Yeah. If you like things like Babes, right? Just a lot of these recent comedies, you know what I mean? Then you might enjoy Beetlejuice. But it is in cinemas right now. So yeah, people, go have fun, but don't say the name 3 times. Remember that. All right? Beetlejuice.